Take 7. Welcome to the Chad channel. I am Chad, and this is a follow-up on a video I recorded a couple months ago on this Optiplex that I put together for gaming. I deemed it the baddest small form factor Optiplex around, and now it's even badder. So I have made a couple of mods since that video. It was actually running really hot with this GPU, and I will show you why. Hopefully I don't hit the power button again. Like 3 times I've turned the computer on and off, and then it freezes up my capture card and I have to restart. And I had to redo the video a couple other times because I'm running benchmarks and stuff in this video. And I thought I'd just, hook up the capture card, sit down, and start doing some benchmarks. That takes forever, and nobody wanted an hour-long video, so I've been sitting here for the last few hours benchmarking this thing, getting screenshots and stuff of all the results. And I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to go through a couple games. So, what I've done to this computer since last time, I put a grill in the top of the case here to get direct outside airflow to the CPU. And then I put a grill right here, right above the graphics card, and I put 3 slim 60mm fans right there, blowing down on the graphics card. I originally had it sucking out because I thought I'd want to pull the hot air out, and that did not work at all. If anything, it made it worse. So turning them around, blowing fresh air in, that way the graphics card fans can suck in that fresh air and blow it over the heatsink, has worked out well. And it runs pretty cool now, so that's good. I'm going to just pop it open to show you. Don't need a knife, I can do this with my fingers, but I've done it so many times, it's starting to hurt a little bit. I bent a little tab in back here to get it to hold a little bit better, but okay. There we go. So yeah, these 3 slim 60mm fans, and yeah, I mean they're like at idle right now, and you can feel the cold air coming off of them. But yeah, the reason why I had to do it was, if you take a look at that graphics card, it's almost right up against the power supply, so there's no room for fresh air. So just this grill alone wasn't quite good enough, but the fans have made a world of difference. I think since the last video, I added a 3rd fan back here. I think I had 2 of these 40mm Noctua fans, and now there's 3. And you could barely feel them move air. I don't know if they're really even doing anything. But this thing stays nice and cool now. So. Go. And when I put this grill on, I had to remove the latching mechanism in here, at least the piece that with the spring that holds it all together. But it still works and it latches. It doesn't, the latch spring doesn't open up all the way still to where you could put a lock through it. But it works. It holds the door's held on, so it's not going to fall off. And yeah, I had somebody ask what I did about the fan morning, and let's see. As you can see on the screen here, CPU fan failure. It's not really, but I just have to press F1. Goodbye. It just boots up normally. I did have to get adapters for because there's a special header on these Dells, so I had to get adapters for them. It's worked out fine. And oh, great! The computer didn't turn off all the way; it just hibernated. So it idles in the upper 30s. Right now, it's in the upper 40s. Even though the CPU is 0%, it was. I mean, as you can see, well, mid 30s here. Wrong mouse. The mid 30s here is where it idles when it's under no load. Eventually, I don't know why it's in the 40s right now, but especially with low CPU. Because C states aren't kicking in yet, it's running at 4 gigahertz. But yeah, and then the CPU, never gets like above the 60s or 70s or something. It doesn't get very hot. And it would idle lower if I could actually adjust the fan curve, but in this BIOS, it's full blast or nothing. So, I just have to go with whatever Dell or Intel, whatever they think the fan curve should be. So that's what it is. Let's see. I have a few benchmarks here opened up. Some 3D Mark benchmarks. This one is the VR Mark cyan room. This one wasn't so great. Average was 74 FPS, but the target was 88 FPS for this. So it's saying it wouldn't be a great high-end VR. Only 12% better than other results. But it says it's better than a 2020 gaming laptop and better than a 2020 office laptop. So let's see, 2020 gaming laptop would have a i7 9750H, a 2060. So, hey, it says it's better than that. So that's cool. And, it's 3/4 of a 2020 gaming PC with the 3700X and 5700 XT. So that's cool. I mean, I don't know how accurate this is, but yeah. But I played VR on it, and it did fine. It was very aggravating, though. I kept getting... The reason I don't have this in my living room anymore is because I built a real badass home theater PC to play VR on. It's a Silverstone RBZ03 or ARGB case with a 3900 XT, a 2080 Ti, triple fan, dual Gen 4, 1 terabyte NVMe's in RAID 0, so there's 2 terabytes. The reason I went with Intel or with AMD was because of the motherboard. I love the motherboard. It's the ROG Crosshair Impact, and it's an awesome motherboard. 32 gigs of DDR4 3800 RAM. So yeah, I'm gonna post a video on that build soon. It's a nice computer. But getting back into this, I would always get messages that say your, PC's not, good enough to play VR. But I played fine, unless I cranked up the resolution too high or something. And the only issue I had was with VRAM. 4 gigs in this thing was not quite enough VRAM for higher resolutions, which I didn't need to play at higher resolutions. I've got an Oculus Quest. It's not that high resolution. But what's funny is that I didn't meet the minimum requirements for VR, but this thing exceeds all of the requirements. The only thing I'm wondering is just if some of the stuff hasn't been validated, like the graphics card. On Oculus's website, I think the 10 series was the last thing that was listed for the NVIDIA's GTX 10 series. So yeah, just the 20 series and the 16 series maybe haven't been validated yet. That might be why, but I was sick of that message. So I built a new computer where I knew I wouldn't get the message. Well, at least where I hoped I wouldn't get the message. Which doesn't really make sense because it's got a 2080 Ti. So, if any of the other 20 or 16 series hasn't been validated, you wouldn't think that was. But I don't get the message anymore. So, hey. But yeah, let's jump to VR Mark Blue Room. This we did pretty bad at also. It's about the same as the Cyan Room, except this is worse than a gaming laptop, but just by a little bit. VR Mark Orange Room. Now, this it did really good. It's lower than office laptop, better than gaming laptop, it says. But the target frame rate was 109 FPS, and it was hitting 121 FPS. So that's good, VR. And then Time Spy, score of 3591. which, is just under a couple thousand points under a modern gaming laptop. So, you know, it, not great, but it's not real high in specs. But the game's good. And then what was this? Oh, this is the Skydiver, 3D Mark Skydiver benchmark I did, and it did pretty good here. It says it's 78% better than all the other PCs that's been tested on this, which maybe a lot of PCs just haven't been tested. But yeah, better than a new office laptop with a 10th gen i7 processor, Iris graphics. Okay, not the best, but yeah. And then Geekbench, 1002 single score, 3806 multi score on the CPU. For the GPU, OpenCL score of 42206, CUDA score of 43286. Sorry, I don't have anything to compare that to, or any of these. Well, I guess the 3D Mark had comparisons. I don't know what to compare the Geekbench to, but if you're looking to upgrade, run a Geekbench and see if yours is worse or better. Let's see. See, now we're down in the 30s. Let's see here. I have a folder with some more benchmark results here. 3D Mark Time Spy. Was 348, which is right under the 6700 Q, which I'm wondering if that is like 6700T, which is a low power part. I'm not sure what the HQ is, but then that's right underneath the Ryzen 1700X. So, not far off of a Ryzen 1700X. So, fairly modern. Then CINEBENCH R20 multi-core. Said CINEBENCH R20 multi-core. Huh. Okay. All right. That score is 1712, which is about 5, 6, 7, 800 points behind a 7700K, which it's about what you would expect. I mean, this is just a couple generations behind 7800K, 7700K. So, and still good for gaming. The core count, it'd be nice if it was higher, but 4 cores, 8 threads still is good for gaming. The only core limited game that I've had real issues with is Need for Speed Heat, trying to use an i5 that was 2 core, 4 thread, or no, a 4 core i5 with no extra threads. And that game was just super duper choppy until I put it was a 6400, and then I replaced it with a 6700 non-K, and it started playing smooth as can be. So yeah, that game is definitely limited by cores, but I couldn't. Yeah, nothing else really. Well, let's see here. User benchmark. I ran that test. Gaming percentage 46, desktop 72. That's really good. Workstation 55, which is surprising because this is not geared toward workstation at all. I would expect gaming to be a little higher than workstation, but hey, yeah. So that's that. But this user benchmark really says brilliant single core on the CPU. Graphics 44.5 is reasonable. 2060 Super is 100%. So this is saying my graphics is half of 2060 Super. It's crazy to think, but yeah. And then let's see. This GPU is in the 35th percentile, which isn't surprising when we have CPUs with 16 cores nowadays. Graphics card, 44th percentile, which is not crazy when we have 2080 Ti's. And then the RAM in the 73rd percentile, which is crazy. 1600 megahertz of RAM. Who's running anything much slower than that these days? Yeah, that one's a little bit surprising. I mean, it might be the 16 gigs is what matters most on this, and that would make sense, 70, because that's what like most people are running. Except a lot of people with like pre-builds are probably running like 8 or 12. So let's see, what else do I have here? VR Mark. And it looks like that's about it. Yeah, I have nothing else to show here. So let's jump into a game. Start Steam. And yeah, I'll actually, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to show you the temperatures this thing runs at. So open up MSI Afterburner. Make sure. Okay, so I do have an overclock, 145 on the core, 345 on the VRAM. Power limits up to 100. It won't go past that on this. Fan speed is at 100 now. You can hear it when you get really close to it, but when I move this far away, I really don't hear it anymore. Especially over my air conditioner that just kicked on. And now I kind of hear it, but barely over like my fish tank, which is not very loud. So it isn't loud. But let's see. I was going to open Combustor once I got this open. And let's do a CPU burner. And this is kind of like a Prime 95. It's just like a power virus that just runs your CPU at 100%. Let's see, and when I do that, you see the CPU clocks down to about 3,800 megahertz. So it drops like 200, which I think that's what the base clock is supposed to be. Let's take a look. It doesn't want to do this whenever the CPU is already running at 100%. At 3.6. Okay, so it's still boosting. Okay, it's supposed to be 3.6 into 3.8. So that's good. It's running a power virus and it's still boosting. So this Noctua cooler has got plenty of cooling for it. And I don't know, it's sick escaping out of this thing because it does not feel hot. Here. I mean, these are all sucking in. Only these 3 tiny fans in the back are exhausting. And I feel the heat. It feels like it's just kind of latent heat. It doesn't feel like it's like blowing out real hard. I'm wondering if these Noctua fans, if the thin 40 millimeter fans would actually move more air than the thick fans. I feel like the thick fans are for better static pressure. I feel like the thins just might move. Because like these thin 60 millimeter fans, they move air. You feel them blowing. But let's see. So we're 75, 76, 77 degrees with the CPU burner running. And that's pretty warm. I don't expect it to get a whole lot hotter than that. We're definitely under gaming. It's not going to get any hotter than that. So, yeah, that's completely acceptable. And we will run a benchmark. We'll just do the first MSI benchmark. Let's open GPU-Z, just so we can take a look at what goes on while we're doing this. I'm going to crank everything to max so everything's on down. Okay, highest. Okay, and then we'll take a look at this after this benchmark runs. Where is it? There. Okay. Run benchmark. Go. Alright. Now, mind you, this GPU, when I first put it in here, would start thermal throttling like instantly. It would get so hot. And let's see how it's doing now. It's running at 53 degrees, as you can see right up here. And the CPU is at 64, 61. It's jumping around a little bit. The GPU is slowly climbing. It's up to 56, 57. And this is with a pretty aggressive overclock on this GPU. Like, you know, before when it overheat, there was no overclock. Okay, we're almost done, 85%. And I'll mention again, I've got that GPU in an X16 PCIe slot, or in an X8 PCIe slot, because so there's two PCIe slots. The X16 is the lower one, which is right above the power supply. So a dual slot card won't fit there. The next one up is X8, and X8, all PCIes are compatible with each other. So you can put a 1X peripheral or card in a X16 and it works fine. Or you can put an X16 in a 1 and it will try to funnel all that power into that by one slot. Now, if it's going to use more bandwidth, then you're going to be restricted. But this thing does not use X16 amount of bandwidth. This graphics card, I don't even think it uses X8, because I'll show you here in a minute. Which I don't think it would. It's less than half as powerful as 2080 Ti. 2080 Ti doesn't even saturate PCIe 3 X16. So, yeah, and that works fine. I wonder about what an X8 supplies in power, because this graphics card does pull 75 watts. But I've had no issues. Like, it, runs fine for hours. The PCIe slot's not cooking. It doesn't smell. I don't know if it's going to cut back on the life of it a little bit, but I mean, this is a repurposed office computer. Who cares? Okay, but let's see, our max temperature. So we're up to 71 on the graphics card now. CPU steadied out around 60, 65, down to 66, down to 63. So, and then we will do, that was only 720p. Okay, let's do Furmark. We'll do a 3200 because, oh, wait a minute, let's just do GL, Furmark, done. Okay, and we're going to do it at 1080. Alright, and let's run it. Let's see, how much have we let this graphics? Okay, so let's see how hot it got and for that test. Okay, got up to 2.04 gigahertz. Memory clock 1586. I don't understand that exactly because it's way slower than what it's really running at. As you can see here, 6325. So it might have something to do with like the data rate of video memory. I don't know. Temperature, the max temperature was 72. Fan speed's running at 100. 100% load, pulling 70 watts. It never hit the TDP. CPU got to 68 degrees. What was I looking for? Oh, bus interface load, 31%. I'm pretty sure that's how much saturation it is, how much is saturating that PCIe lane. And it's only 31%. So I don't know if that's 31% of the actual bus it's on, which is an X8 bus, or of an X16 bus. But if it's 31% of an X8 bus, you could put this graphics card on a PCIe by 4, and it, you wouldn't see any performance degradation. And actually, I used a riser card in the X16, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just mount this GPU externally if I have to. And then I tried it in the X4, no performance difference. It ran the same. So, all right, now let's just quickly do a firmware donut, and then we'll jump into a couple games. I'm starting to feel the heat off of this thing now a little bit, though. It takes a minute. Like, it's got to saturate everything in here first. But yeah, now I'm feeling the fans blow it out the back. This is a weird firmware donut. I usually see the fiery one. I'm not throwing space in the background. This is Spaceman right here. Alright, we're at 70%. Graphics card's only up to 65 degrees. 99% GPU load. Yeah, it's running perfect. No artifacts or anything. CPU still 66, and then dropping down 65, 63. Okay, so that is the firmware donut GL score. Now let's jump into a couple of games. Let's go ahead and close GPU-Z. CPU monitor does the same thing. So, and then I don't really need MSI Afterburner open anymore. I don't know why it keeps doing this. But if I run the troubleshooter, it works. It's done this to me a couple times. And I've got like a really nice add-in Wi-Fi card. It's USB 3, and it's like in the instructions stuff. It's like only use it in USB 3. Like it draws too much power for USB 2. So it worked really well in here. I don't know what's going on now, but yeah, now I'm connected to the internet again. So. Okay. Actually, let me take a look at something. What is using more resources, GPU-Z or hardware monitor? Hardware monitor, 5.6 megabytes RAM, GPU-Z 6.3. GPU-Z seems to be a lot more steady on the processor, though. Yeah, they're about the same. So, wait a minute. What was very high there? Okay, Steam. All right. We will close. I don't know. You get different amounts of different. I'm trying to figure out which one you get more information from, but you get, different information from them. A lot of the same information and a lot of different information. So I don't know. Close GPU-Z, and then let's open Steam and jump into some games. Let's see. Let's start off with Rocket League. Everybody likes Rocket League, right? And any potato should be able to play Rocket League. And I'll mention I'm running this off of a SATA hard drive with one of these little adapters. So my drive read and write speeds and latency is probably pretty slow. So it might take a little longer to load games versus just off of the. I think I have a 250 gig SSD inside this thing, and then I just loaded all my games on an external. I've got like 4 or 6 terabyte external drive, and so my living room right now, it's also got my movies on it and stuff. And somebody's watching a movie earlier, so I didn't grab it and bring it in here. Let's see. Let's just host a custom game here. And I've got frame rate right up here in the upper right. Auto. Let's see, 100 some FPS. Oh, I suck at this game so much. And I hate playing with the keyboard also so much with this game. Darn it. Still 170 something FPS, 180. So yeah, completely smooth. I don't have a frame time graph. And what the heck button did I just push? See? Hey. Oh yeah, it's smooth. I don't know if it's dipped. Okay, there it dipped to 161. But it's not really much of a dip. Okay, let's see. Come on. I don't know how to use my boost with the. I need to check what the controls are. Come on, baby. Okay. Well, that's Rocket League. Plays that perfectly. And let's see if it did anything to GPU. Yeah, actually the max temperature went up. I don't think it was at 81 before, although I didn't look at hardware monitor right before we started playing this game. It might have went up on firmware or something, but I don't think it did. And let's see if the CPU got up to 77 was the highest. So this is starting to get up there a little bit. This is, I mean, in the 70s is acceptable for CPU. I mean, even 81 is acceptable for the GPU. Let's see, what does NVIDIA say the max temperature on this thing is? 90. So, you know, we're not there yet. Haven't got close to that yet. So, I mean, some would say 9 degrees away is close. But I don't think it's close. Okay, let's try. What do I do? Okay. We will. Where did I get Tomb Raider from? It's a non-Steam game. I downloaded it from Steam. We'll just run the benchmark in this game, see how it does. Oh, and by the way, Rocket League, I had everything on high quality settings. So, no VSync, ultimate quality graphics. Cool. I just got an NVIDIA 3D version set up, and I need to get a graphics card that will accept the older drivers that accept the 3D vision from NVIDIA's graphics. But yeah, everything here is turned up to as high as can be. I will say I'm starting to feel the heat coming off this now. Also, my office is up to 80 degrees, so it's hot here. If you're in a normal house with normal temperatures, like say around 70 degrees or so, these temperatures would be like 2 degrees lower. Maybe not, you know, but the delta T would be lower for sure. But yeah, this office just gets so hot. I've got 3 computers running right now. I'm running benchmarks and crap on this one. One of them is an old 6-core Phenom with 2 6970 graphics cards in the Crossfire. So that thing runs hot. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terrariums and a fish tank and a 3D printer. It gets hot. It's really hot. And my air conditioner. It's just a window air conditioner that I've ducted in here, and I've got it on a thermostat that controls the outlet that it's on, and it doesn't always run full blast in the room that it's in. Not that hot. So minimum FPS in Tomb Raider with all the highest settings, 62, max 102, average 83. So capable of playing Tomb Raider. I wanted to download some newer, AAA games and stuff, like Red Dead Redemption 2, but that game was going to take forever to download, so I'm not going to do it. But I know that the settings it would. Getting close. I was wanting to play GTA 5 for you guys because everybody, would be able to compare that. Everybody's played it, so, but it's still half an hour till it's done, and I'm going to be done with this. Let's see. What else? Can I sort by downloaded games? Not that I can see. Okay. Well, the only other one that I know I have downloaded all the way is Will It Run Crisis? Will it run Crisis? I guess we're about to find out. But yeah, if you sit here and watch through all of my rambling, thank you. I'm sorry that it's not high production quality and all that stuff. I really suck at making videos. There's no editing at all, and never has been. Hopefully one day, anytime I've ever sat down and tried to learn to edit, I'm like, man, this takes forever. It sucks. I'd rather just do a lot of takes and get one that I'm comfortable with. And so far, this has been the one. It's been a little longer. I wanted it to be 10 or 20 minutes. And it's been 37. So feel free to jump around. And, look at what you want to look at. I should have said that at the beginning of the video, probably. But show you real quick the options here. This is the best resolution I can get. I know I've gotten 1080 on Crysis 1 before. I do not know how I did it. But yeah, everything's cranked up all the way. So all very high settings, which is the highest, as you can see. And let's play. Gosh, it's so hot in here. I cannot wait to be done with this video and turn the air conditioner back on. It's 2 in the morning and I'm in here sweating my balls off. Now it's 81 in here. Wait a minute. That's not full screen. There we go. Ooh, it just dropped down to 40 some FPS. That's crazy. This thing's probably getting hot because I was playing this earlier at 80 FPS. It just must have gotten way too hot in this room. Oh, my silencer on still. Yes. That's dumb. Uh-oh. settings. Oh, I wish the resolution was higher. Man, this game, for something that came out, what, 10 years ago? It is incredible the amount. Oh, yikes. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, there you saw the frame rate. Let's quit this game and see how hot it's gotten. I have a feeling it got a little bit hotter. This game cranked up. That's kind of sad. I was running less than 60 frames per second on a game that old. But yeah, I got it up to 83 degrees. CPU up to 77, and it is now 83 degrees in my office. So I'm sweltering. The computer's sweltering. You know, it shows our room temperature 84 degrees now. It was a room temperature probably, but we run fine still. So I don't know. I'd say if you live in a hot environment with no air conditioner, you know, like Philippines or something, you might want to do more to cool something like this. But in my case, normal circumstances, and you know, when it's operating under normal conditions, it runs a lot. I just ran benchmarks in this thing for like 3 hours and it never got near this hot. So it's just so hot in here. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope these benchmarks helped you out and you know, made you not afraid to try something like this. It's worked out great, honestly. So yeah, thank you, and be prepared for the video I am putting out. Be prepared for you know, unless you know somebody's buying you a nice new fur coat. I don't know. But be prepared for the video on the new home theater PC. It's a cool computer. So yeah, and you know, hopefully start making more videos more often. I've got so much. I'm building computers all the time. I have 2 computers I'm doing right now. Upgrades I'm doing. You know, I don't even sell stuff just for me in my house. Just I have an addiction to building. So I did build one for my nephew recently, and did not get a video of that. I didn't even get very many pictures of that. I like to put my stuff on this part record, but only got one video at the end of that, and it was a master case. Looks like perforated all over, but it has not really good airflow. Micro ATX actually turned out to be a really good computer. It's an i5, and it runs nice and quiet. So that's the case. So we're